Good evening, everybody. I think we will begin. We'll do the bad news before we do the good news. The good news is that you have programs. The bad news is that you can use them for fans because the heat pump is broken for this room. So we were not aware of that. So just keep shaking and we will all get through this. My name is Stephen Dorney, and I'm the president of Dollars for Scholars of Fall River, and we are happy to present scholarships to the recipients here tonight, all Fall River residents, and we are very proud of you. What I'd like to do is just to start by introducing the board of directors.
The Ray Mitchell Scholarship just arrived.
Okay. One of our vice presidents, Ernie Silva. This applause should be the loudest because it's the treasurer. She brought the checks. Madeline O'Connell. Beverly Moore is our secretary. Members of the board of directors, the corporation, Stephen Aguiar. Karen Boddington. Is Joe Costa here? No. Okay. Philomena Lopes. Mary Jo Murphy. Johnson here? No, she's not. Ann Plichter. And Denise Viveras. And like many organizations these days, it's comprised of volunteers. Nobody takes a salary. So they do it for whatever reason they do it. Most of it's out of the goodness of their heart, and most of it to serve the students in Fall River. So we know you're here to receive your scholarships. We hope you appreciate it, and we hope that you keep in mind the community service that you might do in the future. Just some housekeeping. The awards you receive tonight, your scholarships are $2,000. You'll receive $1,000 tonight. You'll receive a second half scholarship upon completion of your first semester, sometime in late December. So consider it a late Christmas gift. And if anybody has changed colleges before tonight, if it's different, if you've changed schools from what is written in the program, please let Madeline O'Connell know and we will issue you another check. We are obliged to issue checks made out to the school and not to anything else. Photos will be taken of each recipient, and we ask that as recipients, if you could stay afterwards so we could do a group photo. And a little history lesson. Dollars for Scholars of Fall River began as the Citizen Scholarship Foundation. It began in 1958, so this is our 61st award ceremony. Our founder was an optician, Dr. Irving Fratkin, and he ran for school committee in the late 1950s, and he lost. Never was a member of the school committee. And he tried to figure out what could he do to help the students of Fall River, and hence, Citizen Scholarship Foundation was born. And in beginning the scholarship, those of you who are history teachers or history buffs, he began the scholarship with a $1 donation. And the $1 donation came from Eleanor Roosevelt, whose husband Franklin D. Roosevelt was President of the United States in the 30s and 40s. Our parent group is now called Scholarship America, which is headquarters in St. Peters, Minnesota. And the organization nationwide has over 500 scholarships. But it has given scholarships to over 1 million students in its history for over $1 billion. So we're working on the second billion and the second million. I also want to begin tonight just to ask for a moment of silence. One of our recipients, who's a Durfee graduate, Brendan Rocket, passed away, and his obituary was in the paper this morning. He's a recipient of ours from 2017, and for about 4 years we did Shake the Can activities. You may have seen us at the intersections, and he volunteered for every one of them. He came to us, I think, as a sophomore through his Durfee High School volleyball coach, Brendan Kelly. So if we could, a moment of silence. Thank you. I think this teaches us that life is precious and nothing is guaranteed. Tonight we have scholarship names. Yeah.
I'd like to do a moment of silence for Auntie Irene from the Boys Club.
Okay. Anybody here Boys and Girls Club members at any time in your lives? Do you know the name Auntie Irene?
Yes.
Yeah. Also, if we could do a moment of silence, the former chair of the board and member of the board of directors from the Boys and Girls Club, Irene Orlando, passed away. Thank you. Scholarships tonight are named for people and groups that give back lots to the community of Fall River. There are also memorial scholarships awarded tonight. And we're happy to be able to award scholarships tonight in the name of veterans. And I just want to highlight one. We're giving a scholarship tonight in the name of Sergeant Joseph Damaris. And Joseph Damaris was a World War I veteran. And this year, 2019, we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the conclusion of World War I. So I did some work, our group did some work with Ray Haig, who's the veterans agent in Fall River. And he had mentioned to us that there was an opportunity to name a scholarship for a soldier who had passed away 100 years ago. So in our existence as a group, this is rather unique, so we're happy to do it. And if you're presenting tonight in memory of someone, or if you're presenting because a scholarship has been named for you for your work in the community, you're welcome to talk about your scholarship or about your work or about the person that you are memorializing. So that is open to all. For me, there are many thanks tonight. I'm just going to do some quick ones. One is to Ernie Silver, our Vice President, for suggesting that we honor our veterans and name memorial scholarships for them tonight. So thank you, Ernie. Steve Aguirre has been tutoring me as president and keeping me on track with the responsibilities of the presidency, and quite frankly, I'd be lost without him. So thank you, Steve. Peter Holman, who's one of our vice presidents who is on vacation, is an instructor at Bristol Community College, and he arranged for the room and the filming, and we assume he did not turn off the air conditioning. But thank you. And I'd also like to thank the board of directors for all their work and contributions during the year. Thank you. I think we can proceed to the scholarships. Our first scholarship is the Scott A. Andrews Specialist U.S. Army Memorial Scholarship, and it's presented to Adil Shahid, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Boston to study psychology, and to present his scholarship is Scott Andrews' mother, Joanne Mello.
Excuse me, as everyone comes down, we just need you to stand kind of right here. We're going to get your photo. Thank you.
And if Adil can join us, I hope I did okay with your name, sir. If you don't, if you're gonna speak, you have to. Do you want to speak? Okay. If you can wait. Then we'll do the picture. Congratulations.
Hi, good evening. My name is Joanne Mello. I'm the mother of Specialist Scott Andrews, who was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2010. And I'd like to thank Dallas for Scholars for awarding this scholarship in memory of him. Thank you.
We need to just get
Stand
the...
here for a minute. Come on. The camera's over here. You will over there. So one with, here's look.
Our next scholarship will be presented by Colleen Barrett, and it's the Sergeant Robert J. Barrett U.S. Army Memorial Scholarship. And it's presented to Laureen Sadler's, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst to study psychology. Congratulations. Our next scholarship is called the Below the Hill Scholarship. And it's Below the Hill in Fall River is defined by roughly South Main Street, Columbia Street, Bay Street, and Bradford Avenue. And it's a section of the city which once had a movie named after it. But it happens to be the neighborhood that I grew up in. And I knew several of the gentlemen that used to work at Santa Cristo Church, hang around Santa Cristo Credit Union, and they raised an amount of money to give a scholarship to someone from their neighborhood. So tonight's recipient is Billy Ramirez, who's going to Rhode Island College to study nursing. Our next scholarship is named for Nicholas Christ, who's the president of Bay Coast Bank. And Nick has done a ton of work in the Fall River community, lots of it to benefit students. Some of you have seen the big blue bus around your school campus. Others of you who went to the prom. How many went to the Durfee prom? And the Durfee After Prom Committee. The Durfee After Prom is one of the babies of Nick Chris, among other things. But he has been tireless in his efforts to keep Fall River moving forward, especially with education and kids coming out of high school. To present his scholarship is young Nick Chris. Is that okay to say? Yes. and the scholarship goes to Benjamin Medeiros, who's attending Northeastern University and is going to study civil engineering. Our next memorial scholarship is named for a board member, John W. Cummings, Some of us here are old enough to remember when John taught at Durfee High School. Many of you who are here tonight will not know him. He was a person who finished his life at the Adams House, which was a skilled nursing facility. And we used to move our meetings there because he did not want to stop his involvement with Dallas Fiscalis, but just a wonderful man. And his scholarship is being presented to Nathan Botello, who's going to Bridgewater State University studying political science. Congratulations.
Yeah, Oscar.
Our next scholarship is named for Sergeant Joseph Damaris, who's the World War I veteran. Okay. And is there anyone from Mr. Damaris's family?
No, the student's not here.
Okay, and I don't think anyone's here from his family.
Okay, so we'll meet
So,
on the
all right, so we will skip that. Our next scholarship is the Anthony E. Fazina and Rosaria F. Joseph Memorial Scholarship. And it's presented to Charlene Duong, who's going to Brandeis University to study biology.
The best photos are going on the website.
Okay.
And Charlene, there was a time I had to fix my hair before photos. No more. Our next scholarship is the John S. Felix and Mary S. Felix Memorial Scholarship, being presented to Kyle Neves, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst to study political science.
I'd just like to take 10 seconds just to mention that my grandmother and grandfather, the bio is in the book, but my grandmother worked in a sewing shop in the city of Fall River, and my grandfather worked in a mill. And then subsequently, he had his career by driving a taxi for the city of Fall River. So they were not people of means, but they managed to raise 3 daughters, help about a half dozen grandchildren, bought a house in the city of Fall River. So kind of the American dream, and make things better for their children and their grandchildren. So on behalf of my wife and myself, I'd like to present you with my grandmother and grandfather's scholarship.
Our next scholarship is the Figurito Watt Scholarship, and it's being presented to Deidre Duwatt, who's going to Bridgewater State University to study math and secondary education. Our next scholarship is the Fall River Kiwanis Albert Domingos Memorial Scholarship, and it's being presented to Kara Barabee, who's going to Bridgewater State University to study speech pathology.
I think she's going to Rick. I wrote it on one program.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, that's all. I already
And Kara,
told,
are you going to Rhode Island College? Yeah. You are, okay,
I told Madeline already.
okay. We have a correction.
Steve, he just showed up. So you can
Okay.
put as a family scholarship. Okay.
And Hank, you told me, Steve, you also told me that.
Yes, yes.
If we're lucky, this might be the only curveball we throw tonight. So we're going to be a little bit out of order. The Robert L. Horn Scholarship. Bob Horn is here tonight to present the scholarship. Bob Horn is retired as the United Way Director in Fall River, which has done tons and tons of work with organizations that help youth to senior citizens. Peter McCarthy is here from the Boys and Girls Club today. And I'm not sure the Boys and Girls Club could exist without the help that United Way has given over the years. Bob is retired, heading to Alaska later this week. And we thank you for all your community service. And his scholarship is being presented to Kimberly Dye, who's at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, to study psychology. Oh, absolutely. Do you want the microphone? Or? Yeah, we're a
Dennis
little.
Montesinos.
No, we did a curveball.
So even that with that?
Kimberly, this is, yeah.
Kimberly.
We're all set here. We are.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, we're all set.
Come on down, Kimberly.
When Steve notified me that a scholarship would be awarded in my name, I was very honored and appreciative. I was a lazy student in high school. I really was. I wanted to be a teacher, but you can't be a teacher and be lazy. So I got a job and bought a car, and I thought things were going well. But I really didn't have an appreciation for education. And I finally realized that I couldn't grow in my job without an education. So I went back to school. And I graduated the Rhode Island Junior College in the top 1% of my class. The second thing I wanted to do was, I got a $50 scholarship when I got out of high school. I'm not sure whether that reflected the amount of money they had or my class rank. And I went to Bridgewater, the college, not the prison. Although when I went home, I think my father probably wanted to put me in prison. But two things I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I got my education and to urge you as students to move forward as far as you can in education. I'm a junior college graduate, and I went beyond that, and I'm still working on it. And the other thing I wanted to do is to urge you to give back. The $50 scholarship that I got urged me to move forward. I've been a member of the Case High School Scholarship Committee for 28 years, and for 19 years, the president. And we've raised $1.6 million, and last month we gave almost $60,000 in scholarships. So I urge you to continue your education and give back in the future. Thank you.
That's good.
Good job, sir. This might be only our second curveball, but the Irving and Charlotte Fratkin Founders Scholarship will go to Dennis Montesinos, who's going to Bristol Community College to study general studies and forensics. And we don't think he's here this evening.
No.
Okay. Moving right along. I think I'm going to present the next one. It's the Elaine Furamoto Memorial Scholarship. And it goes to Jesse Magnifico, who's going to the University of Maine to study animal and veterinary science. I'll be with you in a second. Come on over. Elaine Furamoto is a pretty interesting story. She's never been in Fall River. She has a friend who's on our board, Michael McNally. There's a scholarship in the book here for Jeffrey Sylvia, and Elaine passed away a few months ago, and in her will, she asked that a $2,000 scholarship be donated to Dollars for Scholars of Fall River. We decided to name it for her. The contribution came from a cousin of hers in California. So one of the things I told him is that we will get a photo of the recipient and make sure that it gets back to you. And I don't know if this will help your future, but Elaine grew up in Hawaii and lived most of her life between California and Oregon. So all nice places to live, but congratulations.
Thank
Very
you.
proud of you. Our next scholarship is the Edith Gold Memorial Scholarship, being awarded to Jonah Andrade, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth to study nursing. Congratulations. The Agatha Goodson Scholarship is being awarded to Brittany DaCosta, who's going to Bristol Community College to study dental hygiene. Congratulations. Do you think I should send out for popsicles, maybe? The E. Gerald Goodson Scholarship, Memorial Scholarship, goes to Haley Sharon, who's going to Riverside City College in California to study medical. I'm going to ask Steve Aguirre to come up here. He's going to present the next scholarship, which is the Leonard Kaplan Scholarship.
Thank you. This is the first time we've awarded the scholarship for Leonard Kaplan. For those of you who are been around a while, he's also known as low price Leonard Kaplan. The first thing you probably need to know is he's a Korean War vet. He's also the founder of the Messina Sweetheart Pageant of America, which lasted for 36 years in Fall River. He ran the 4th of July celebration for over a decade, involved in the Lions Club, involved in the Rotary, involved in practically anything you can think about. Lenny's a good friend of mine. She actually saw him in January, March. In April, unfortunately, he's had some medical issues, and he's now living in Atlanta, Georgia with his son and his daughter-in-law. So he knows about the scholarship. My wife's around here somewhere taking a video. We're going to email it to him down in Atlanta sometime tomorrow. So it gives me a pleasure to award. You can call it.
Sure. Aidan Magnuson, University of Connecticut, Mechanical Engineering.
You gotta switch the photo. Technology at its finest.
Steve.
Yeah, it is.
Our next scholarship will be presented by board member and Durfee High School teacher Karen Boddington to a former student. The President John F. Kennedy Memorial Scholarship awarded to Jeremy Brum, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst to study history.
It's really mine.
We seem to find a pattern this year for giving scholarships for people who are retiring or about to retire. Our next scholarship is named for Peter McCarthy, the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club of Fall River, who is retiring in October. Peter has been the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club for 20 years. And for those of you who are retired, and those of you who are still working, and those of you who are about to enter college and are going to get yourselves a great education and a great career, just slide this around for a couple of seconds. Peter McCarthy has been at the Boys and Girls Club working for 48 years now. Which must mean hundreds of thousands of kids at this point in time. But Peter has done tremendous work with kids at the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys and Girls Camp in Asona. And it's not if you want to apply for this, it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's not a Monday through Friday job. It's 6 to 7 days a week, and you may even get a chance to drive the bus. So, if we could call up Peter to present. And the scholarship will be awarded to Kimberly Montero, who's going to Bridgewater State University to study social sciences.
Peter, do you want to speak? Just right up here will be fine. Listen, come on
No,
up.
you gotta go for it.
You know, it's an honor, and I'm thrilled to have this in my memory. Thank you to the committee. But we at the Boys and Girls Club, this is exactly what we hope every child that walks through our door has the opportunity to be. Successful students with a path for the future, and congratulations to you. Thank you.
Our next scholarship is named for Raymond Mitchell, and Ray is here this evening. If you are a Fall River Public Schools person, Ray served for years on the Fall River School Committee. If you're a Diamond High School student, a Diamond graduate, Ray has served on the school committee. For years, we did shake the can things at various street corners to raise some money, nickel and a dime and $1 at a time. And logistics-wise, we needed help from the government center. And when we did that, Ray Mitchell was there for us. And we did it on a Saturday, so it's not easy to get things open, get tables done, get microphones, get all that stuff. So we're honored. And if you listen to WSAR, Ray has been a talk show personality there and a member of the Fall River City Council. What have I left out?
We're not talking about it.
The Ray Mitchell Scholarship will be presented to Kiona Morales, who's going to Bridgewater State University.
Great, thank you.
After we do the George Road and the other items, I just want to say a few words about both of those scholarships.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Tell I'm a politician, I took off with the money. Yes, yes.
Karen Boddington will present her family scholarship, the Raposa Family Scholarship. The recipient is Rodson Celestin, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Boston to study management.
Person just came in. Cameron Rogers. Last page. He's here.
Okay. The next scholarship is the George Riley Memorial Scholarship. It's being presented to Madison Bullia, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth to study biomedical engineering. Our next scholarship is also a Riley Memorial Scholarship. It's named after Margaret M. Riley. And it's presented to Justin Arrigo, who's going to Bridgewater State University to study biochemistry.
So biochemistry, huh? Easy major? Congratulations.
Sure, sure. I want to take just a minute or two and talk about these Riley scholarships. I do it every year for a reason, to make a point. We have a lot of donors who leave us money in their wills. We can't talk about that. Okay, that's private. But this scholarship actually made the newspapers several years ago, so there's nothing here that's private that I'm about to talk about. But why do I want to mention this scholarship? Because there's a kind of a message that's attached to it. But Bill Riley, who is the son of the mother and father who just got these two scholarships, he got a citizen scholarship back in, was it 58? Yeah, we came on board. He was like the third or fourth year that it was $1 for scholars at that time. A Durfee student got a scholarship, and like a lot of students, he went to college and he really didn't come back to the area. But Bill had a lot of jobs during his 50-year career. His last job was he was the secretary of the Environmental Protection Agency, nominated by President George H.W. Bush. That was the last job that he had. He was very successful. After that, he went on to working throughout the world, places like India, in order to find sources of clear water, clean water. But when Bill's parents passed away, he gave us a call and he gave us a check for $50,000. He said, I came from Fall River. I went to the Fall River schools. I was brought up and I was raised in Fall River. Yes, I didn't come back, but I'm still a Fall River boy. So what's my message to you? Many of you aren't going to come back. I have a 35-year-old son who graduated in 2005 and he's never come back. I get it, okay? But that doesn't mean that you can't remember tonight. You can't remember the scholarship that somebody put in your hands, that somebody worked hard for, somebody passed away, left money in their will. So when you're working for a future president of the United States, and I'm sure some of you will, I'm 100% certain some of you will. I read every single bio on your scholarship application, every single one. I looked at all your GPA scores, and I'm 100% sure that some of you, actually you probably won't be working for a future president of the United States. Probably many of the women in this audience are going to be a future president of the United States. So All I'm asking you is just remember the city of Fall River, and when you become successful, just try to get back to your community. Thank you.
I will tell you a quick Bill Riley story. His parents, George and Margaret, went to Durfee High School. Then they moved to Illinois. Bill Riley lived in Illinois, and his parents thought so highly of Durfee High School that he lived with his grandparents on Locust Street during the school year and went to Durfee High School for 4 years and then went back home in the summer. So, shout out to Durfee High School. Our next scholarship is named for a board member, the Bruce Rex Memorial Scholarship. And this also gives me a chance, and I'm going to ask her to stand. Mary Aguiar has done a yeoman's job bailing us out with our information technology. Our IT person, who's a board member, moved to Boston, has had a difficult time just being in Fall River with all the things that she does. And Mary has come to the forefront to bail us out. So if you could please stand, we'd be lost without you.
I'm gonna hear about this when I get home tonight.
Jewelry is a good thing, isn't it? And actually, Bruce Rex would have been taking photos tonight, because that was one of his jobs. So it reminded me to thank you. The Bruce Rex Memorial Scholarship goes to Danielle Furtado, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth to study business and a little bit undeclared. Congratulations. And the Sonner Family Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Maya Parker, who's going to the University of New Haven to study criminal justice. Congratulations. The Sidney Schnechter Memorial Scholarship is being awarded to Dararath Khan, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst to study biochemistry. Congratulations. The next scholarship will be presented by our board member, Ernie Silva, and it's a scholarship that he has funded for his parents. The Ernesto R. and Dolores P. Silva Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Katharina Pereira, who's going to Boston College to study political science. The Jeffrey A. Sylvia Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Donald Gossick, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Boston to study computer science. The next scholarship is the Dr. Stanley T. Spivak Memorial Scholarship, and it's awarded to Nicole Somebody help me with this. He's not here, okay. All right, saved by the bell. But Nicholas is going to the University of Massachusetts Amherst to study biomedical engineering. If I could, I'm going to call up to present the next scholarship, Robert Tavares, who's the brother of Charles Tavares, and Victor Farias, who's the Flag and Graves officer. And this scholarship is named for United States Navy Memorial Scholarship, Charles Tavares. Charles Tavares grew up in Harbor Terrace and passed away in service.
1969, if I may.
Oh, you want to come up?
I'll pay this one.
Okay.
So my brother was killed in South Guam, Vietnam in 1969. He was hit by a 100-pound rocket that destroyed the whole barge carrying a bunch of ammunition. So I'm grateful to you guys for letting me present this to you.
And the recipient is Kelly Rovarito, who's going to Bridgewater State College to study social sciences.
Is anybody here to present the Vietnam?
Yeah, James Briggs. To our 30-something high school graduates tonight, it's not often that you get a chance to hear a former college president. The person presenting the Vietnam Veterans of Fall River Memorial Scholarship is Dr. Jack Sprague, who's the former president of Bristol Community College. I've asked him if he would spend a couple of minutes enlightening you as someone who has run a college and is expecting, or in his past, expected a lot more than 30-something kids. So, if you would.
Thank you and good evening. It's a wonderful event, and as an academic person, I'm so pleased for all of the recipients. I did want to be very brief. I promised I'd be brief and no air conditioning. I can't take blame for that. It happened to me after I left. I will say this to you recipients, okay, that you are embarking. We urge you all to continue with your education beyond your baccalaureate and your associate's degree and continue moving forward. You can't, in this complex society, you can't get enough education, and it's the key to everyone's future. But just a brief message I want to mention to all of you, and I emphasize to you, you're headed from here to a different environments, and there'll be a lot of distractions, and there'll be a lot of different things that occur. You have made a life-changing decision to continue with your education. It's a life-changing decision. Your life will never be the same, so you pursue that. But what I wanted to stress to you is that wherever you go, and it may not be at the college you're headed for this fall, but wherever you go, treat this life-changing decision with the seriousness of purpose that it deserves. You are changing your life, and you're going to run into a lot of distractions. Friends wanted you to go here or there. You come back to Fall River, and things are going on, and whatever it is. I have a saying that I used to emphasize at BCC. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Okay? And for you, the main thing is education, wherever you're going. So treat it as a life-changing experience, and with all of the seriousness and all of the gravity that it deserves. And I wish you all the best, absolutely. So proud of you. I had the honor of knowing Dr. Fratkin when I first arrived in Fall River and working with Dollars for Scholars, and It's a magnificent group of committed people that you have here, and I hope you appreciate all the work that goes into not just tonight, but the whole program. And I want to shout out especially for Ernie Sylvia and Mary Jo Murphy for including veterans in this evening's presentation. Thank you very much. I've gone on long enough, but Steve asked me to say just a second about the Vietnam Wall, memorial wall that we're building and bringing to Fall River. It's about $1.3 million project, and we have over $1 million already raised. So this is a wall, it's an 80% replica of the actual wall in Washington. It will be free. It's at the bottom of President Avenue. You just follow President Avenue straight on to Bicentennial Memorial Park, where there is already a Iwo Jima Memorial, a Gold Star Family monument, a Korean War monument. So it's a wonderful site, a scenic area, and the wall will be there, 80% replica of the real wall, not 80% of the names, all of the names. And 58,000 plus people gave their ultimate sacrifice, as you heard tonight already. And most of us on the committee are Vietnam vets, and it's really an honor to be bringing this. It's the only one that's going to be allowed in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, 50 miles south of Fall River. So please take the opportunity to look for news about the opening July 2nd. Governor Baker is coming for a symbolic groundbreaking, and we're moving forward with just a great progress. We hope to be open and have it ready by Veterans Day of 2020, a year from November. And with that said, I thank you very much.
The Vietnam Veterans of Fall River Memorial Scholarship is presented to Cameron Rogers, who's going to the University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth to study engineering.
I think.
And just a note from us, we'll be awarding $68,000 this year. We've never given that much money out. I don't even know what our top total was, but it was nowhere near that. 52,000. So this is a new plateau for us, and we are happy to do it. So if you know younger kids coming up to the senior year next year, tell them to apply. Our next scholarship will be presented by Denise Viveras, board member, and it's on behalf of her daughter. The Stacy Lynn Viveras Memorial Scholarship is being presented to Lexi Bolorino, who's going to Bristol Community College to study office skills training. And our next scholarship is within her family as well. The Richard T. and Wayne Viveras Memorial Scholarship is presented to Alicia Ferreira, who's also going to Bristol Community College to study business. Before we present our final scholarship, just a couple of things. I think we're going to try and get 8 chairs in the first 4 rows for a group photo afterwards. And a quick question for Peter McCarthy. How difficult would it be to open the pool at the Boys and Girls Club? About 15, 20 minutes?
We'll try, maybe summer camp.
And our final scholarship is the Michael David Roble Scholarship, a memorial scholarship. It's presented to Savannah Medeiros, who's going to Rhode Island College to study nursing. Congratulations. And it's only appropriate that someone who's going to study nursing is awarded this scholarship. Michael Roble passed away at age 10 as a fifth grader at St. Stanislaus School. And his parents were not able to make it tonight, but they have presented the scholarship just about every year. And to get a fit for someone going into nursing is a great tribute. So. I thank you all for enduring the heat tonight. It's not the way we planned it, but we all got through it. So we'll ask the recipients to stay, and we'll do a photo down here. We wish all of the students going off to college and their parents the very best in the next 4 years. Congratulations.